Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the My Greek Island podcast. Yes, you have guessed right, this is Maria, and I can imagine that quite a few of you are probably confused right now because George is always the opening voice of the podcast after all. But today is somewhat a different kind of episode, focused on the history and significance of the 28th of October to Greece. And, given that George is more of a history junkie than me, he has actually taken charge of recording this episode. And I'm just literally doing the intro, so it's not a monologue. Although, to be honest, I could just listen to him all day long, just chatting away. But before we get into this short but important episode, if you're not following us on Instagram or TikTok, press that pause button and head over to give us a follow on the handle at My Greek Island. Also check out the website www.mygreekis.land, where I share blog posts in addition to this podcast. And lastly, please give us a rating or review on the podcast platform of your choice and share the love, people. Tell your friends all about us, as it really does help us keep coming back with more content. Right, so without further ado, let's play that intro and head over to George to get into today's episode. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the My Greek Island podcast, dedicated to take you, the wanderlust, on a journey through Greece.
There are 227 inhabited Greek islands. Which one will you visit next?
My Greek Island, with your hosts George and Maria.
Hello, my Greek Islanders. It's George here. As Maria has said in the intro, it is just me today, so you are very lucky. I'm the unlucky one that is actually having to sit back and listen to the edit of me talking for an entire episode with, perhaps, the odd cameo from our very own Maria. Who knows? But on a serious note, today's episode is very important. As you know by the title, Ochi Day, the Greek no, and the importance it has in Greek culture and in Greek history. So get ready to dive deep into history, because today's episode is all about Ochi Day. And trust me, this isn't your average episode. For one, Maria has given me full reins on this episode, so hopefully I'm not going to mess it up. And two, I'm going to be talking about history and trying not to make you fall asleep or switch off this podcast. So whatever you're doing, please listen to the end. We're about to uncover together a story of courage, defiance, and the power of a single word. So picture this. It's October 28th, and you find yourself in the lovely Greece after listening to one of our top destinations for October episode, bit of a plug, and all across Greece, people are gearing up for one of the biggest national holidays. And you might now be thinking, well, what's all the fuss about? What is this day about, and what even is its significance? Well, my Greek Islanders, you're about to find out. So let's hop into our time machine, set the dial back to 1940, and discover why Ochi Day is such an important day in Greek history.
Part 1. Observing Ochi Day, a celebration of Hellenic heritage.
Now, every year on the 28th of October, Greeks from Greece and all over the world come together to observe Ochi Day, and it's a day dedicated to honouring the bravery and resilience of the Greek people during World War II. Now, most of us would have learned about World War II extensively at school, but for us in the UK, we did not learn much about Greece in World War II. Now, this significant holiday holds great importance in Greece, as I said, and among the Greek communities worldwide. Ochi, which means no in Greek, which you should know from our bite-sized learning, symbolizes the refusal of the Greek government to surrender to Axis forces in 1940.
Part 2. Historical background. The Greek no.
The historical context of Ochi Day dates back to the early 1940s when World War II was raging across Europe. Greece actually found itself in quite a precarious position as Axis forces, led by Nazi Germany, set their sights on invading the country. In October 1940, Italian dictator Benito Mussolini issued an ultimatum to Greece demanding that Greek forces allow Axis troops to occupy Greek territory without resistance. Now, the Greek government, under Prime Minister Ioannis Metaxas, responded with a resounding Ochi, or no. But, interesting fact, on the eve of October 28, 1940, Metaxas actually rejected the ultimatum with the French words "Alors c'est la guerre," French for "then it is war," and essentially he didn't say no, but in doing this he echoed the will of the Greek people to resist, a will which was popularly expressed in one word, Ochi. And within hours, Italian troops began attacking Greece from Albania. The important thing here is the brave refusal to surrender to the Axis powers marked a pivotal moment in Greek history. This was an act of defiance that not only inspired Greek people, but also the world. Greece's no became a symbol of resistance against tyranny and oppression during a time when much of Europe was under Nazi control.
Part 3. The Greco-Italian War. A test of determination.
The Italian invasion that followed Greece's rejection of Mussolini's ultimatum actually led to the Greco-Italian War. Despite being outnumbered and facing a formidable military force, the Greek army put up a fierce resistance. The Greek soldiers' determination and the support they received from the Greek civilian population surprised the world and gained them admiration and respect. The winter of 1940-1941 was particularly harsh for the Greek civilians and soldiers. The Greeks endured severe hardships. There was food shortages, and there was also brutal weather conditions. Yet, they persevered, and their resistance delayed the Axis advance into the Balkans. Despite the ultimate triumph of the Axis forces, it is noted by historians that Greece's resistance greatly affected the course of World War II, providing valuable time for other Allied forces to regroup and prepare for the larger conflict that was unfolding.
Part 4. Ochi Day. A celebration of courage.
Now, Ochi Day, the celebration of courage, as we said, is celebrated annually on the 28th of October. It commemorates this historic no, as we now know it, uttered by Greece in 1940. It serves as a poignant reminder of the courage and resilience displayed by the Greek people during World War II. Now, the day's events typically include parades, if you're in Athens or Thessaloniki or many other big Greek towns. There's wreath-laying ceremonies and various cultural activities that honour Greece's heroic past. One of the most iconic elements of Ochi Day, I would say, are the school parades. Now, students across Greece often participate in these parades, proudly carrying Greek flags and chanting slogans that commemorate the events of 1940. The Greek national anthem is often sung passionately during these gatherings, as well as poems being recited by school children. Now, hopefully, Maria is going to recount her experience of going in a school parade.
Hi, my Greek Islanders. So clearly I had to drop in since George has put me on the spot, partially to check that you're still able to follow his monologue, but also because, yes, indeed, I did march on the 28th of October back in my school years, which seem such a distant memory right now. And yeah, it was something that as a student you really looked forward to. We, would wait when we would march, and fun fact is that I was in the first row of the parade when I did march because I was one of the tallest girls in school, which is quite funny. Should probably dig out a photo somewhere. Hopefully we have one. But yeah, I do hope that at some point you do get to experience the parade, because it is quite a unique experience. So if you're in October in any parts of Greece, or Cyprus for that matter, go ahead and see the parade. Anyway, so back to George.
Now, wreath-laying ceremonies at monuments and memorials are dedicated to those who fought and sacrificed during the war, and are also very, very common. And these ceremonies are often solemn and heartfelt, serving as a way to pay tribute to the heroes of Greece's past. Now, another thing you might notice if you're in Greece on the 28th of October, you might notice a lot of people put out their Greek flags either in their house or on their balconies, and that also happens on other Greek national days.
Part 5. Ochi Day worldwide.
While Ochi Day holds deep significance in Greece, its observance actually extends far beyond the country's borders. Greek communities all around the world come together on the 28th to celebrate their heritage and remember the sacrifices made by their ancestors. In cities with significant Greek populations, you can expect to find parades, cultural festivals, and educational events that promote Greek history and culture. As we said, should you find yourself in Greece, in addition to perhaps seeing flags or parades or things going on, if you're specifically in Athens or Thessaloniki, you must make sure you see the parade in the centre and get there early. And there is also free entry on this day to various museums. Now, the global observance of Ochi Day not only keeps alive the memory of Greece's resistance during World War II, but also fosters a sense of unity and pride amongst the Greeks and the Greek diaspora. It serves as a reminder of the enduring spirit and contributions of the Greek people to the world. Now, a question to our listeners is, we have Ochi Day on the 28th of October, but there's also really, really important national day, which is celebrated, which is in March. So listen out for March, because we might do an episode on what that is.
Part 6. Contemporary significance.
Ochi Day continues to hold, I think, great relevance in the modern world. As I said, it serves as a reminder of the importance of standing up against tyranny and oppression, even in the face of overwhelming odds. The courage displayed by the Greek people in 1940 serves as an inspiration for those who value freedom and democracy. In a world where conflicts and threats to freedom still exist, Ochi Day reminds us of the enduring need to protect and defend these principles. It serves as a call to action, encouraging individuals and nations to stand up for what is right and just, even when faced with adversity. Thank you for joining me on this mini voyage episode through history. And remember, sometimes all it takes is one word to change the course of history. So until the next episode, where I will be back with my other Greek island half, Maria, or I actually should be saying when we will be back, because this is not a one-person show, he says after one episode on his own. So until that next episode, when Maria and George will be back, yes. Right, my Greek Islanders, this comes to the end of another episode of this podcast.
Now you know the drill. If you like this episode, share it to share the love with the My Greek Island community, where everyone is welcome. And
don't forget to follow, like, subscribe, and all that jazz. And maybe give us a little rating from wherever you're listening to us from, so you are notified every time a new episode drops. And if you have any suggestions or requests, get in touch.
And for those of you visiting Greece, don't forget to tag @MyGreekIsland on Instagram for a future feature. Until then, see you later, or as they say in Greek,
Τα λέμε.